2007 Nissan Altima S 2.5 liter gas engine. I believe the VIN is N. Got an oil leak. This is the oil cooler. Bolts on the back of the engine. 2 nuts, 2 bolts. Oil pressure switch plugs in. 4 10mm bolts on the top. You'll see it sitting up above. Oh, yeah, there. And then there's 2 cooler lines that come down attached to a cooler. Of course, has coolant in it. I've chosen to go this route and not take off the coolant hoses. It's a little trickier, but with the air ratchet, I can reach in there and at least loosen stuff up and get things out of there. Let's take a look inside the car. Here's my new gasket and my new O-ring. Sticking in there right now. The old gasket and the old O-ring, which was probably leaking, fairly flat. Flattened now over time. And I've just cleaned the surface of the bottom there, and then 4 bolts go through the top. When you go a little look at the top and the 2 cooler lines, I certainly can take those off, and it wouldn't be a huge deal except for the mess of coolant. I'd just rather not do that right now. You can see where it bolts up there. 2 studs, pretty easy. Again, with the air ratchet, gives me a little more extra reach. 5 21mm lug nuts for taking the wheel off. Got a little shield here with some clips. Take the clips off. These clips the center, pop the center up, and then it comes free. And you just push it in this way, push the center in, locks it in place. So this is not a great R&R procedure, but if you happen to see an oil leak coming from there, then it is possible to replace the O-ring seal inside. So we'll just reach in here and start 3 or, well, there's a total of 4 10mm bolts. I'll reach in there. It might be easier to have an assistant to actually reach in from over here. Right up here, I have an assistant hold it while I reach through the wheel well and get the bolts started or tightened. Just because I didn't do it the way you probably should by taking the cooler lines off. So this is a good level for me on the hoist. I can reach around this side here with one hand and on the other side with this hand, and I can hold it and screw in the bolts. So I got my 4 bolts, 10mm bolts started on the top there. Let's get my 1/4-inch ratchet, tighten them down. I'm sure betting it's like 96, 106 inch-pounds, something like that. We'll get those tightened up and then mounted on the engine. My new gasket on there and 12mm nuts and bolts. So here's the basic tools I use, at least for getting the oil cooler out. 10mm ratchet and socket there, 10mm socket, 12mm socket and extension for the bolts, and here we are back together. Need to plug in the oil pressure switch. That's right here. Just one terminal at the bottom you push right there. Just push that in, it should release it. Clicks into place. We'll get some maybe some brake cleaning, clean this all up. Put the wheel back on, about 80 foot-pounds torque. Put a cover on, and you'll be done with your oil cooler on your 2000 Nissan Altima. Well, other vehicles too. 2.5 liter VIN N.